Now let's cover some key considerations for Snowflake migrations. First of all, the migration itself can take way too long. The average time from Snowflake is 249 days, 8 months to migrate a data warehouse from on-prem to Snowflake. By the way, I'll walk you through a case study that was much longer. As for post-migration, you want to make sure that you don't have to do rework once you and the team have gotten over the goal line. Extensive rework due to any migration failures can be demoralizing, and should any of those failures cause production data issues, you have a whole can of worms to deal with, not least of which is diminished trust. Simply put, your goal in adopting Snowflake is to get from data to outcomes using Snowflake's powerful capabilities in the cloud with their intelligent infrastructure, performance engine, and optimized storage. A few specific considerations to keep in mind. As mentioned before, Snowflake uses a unique security model that you may be unfamiliar with, so testing the matrix mappings are critical. Metadata tests are really important as Snowflake is a very metadata-driven platform, and to get the most out of it, you need to adequately test the metadata during the migration. Lastly, there's the different features of Snowflake you won't have on-prem, such as time travel. You want to make sure that you're utilizing all the capabilities of Snowflake during and after the migration. So once you've started, the race is on to identify any data problems. Imagine you encounter an issue with the new process in Snowflake that you migrated, and you're trying to figure out what went wrong. Was it at the source that is now feeding Snowflake? Did it come through transformations in Snowflake that went wrong? Is it in the end reporting? Where exactly is the problem? And if you spend a lot of time having to debug this process after the fact, this is a huge impact on your timelines. Another layer on top of that is not only do you have to check your processes across the new Snowflake to make sure they're correct, you also need to make sure that any existing processes in your on-prem solution match what you need, your requirements, and then you have to check between those two. This is the parallel acceptance test. What would happen that would make it where these two don't match at the end? Where in that process did it break? So if you resort to manual testing, you're going to have a lot of issues. Before we engaged, we had a client that started the migration process with very high hopes. And then as they got into it, they started seeing all the issues that they were having with what was being moved without proper testing, to Snowflake production issues that just kept bogging them down. It's very difficult to move forward if what you've got is broken. In such circumstances, this process can literally take years, especially for larger enterprises. Now, if you start your migration with end-to-end automated testing from the outset, you can expect less than 249 days. In fact, we encourage a migration timeline of 180 days that is certainly achievable if you follow the best practices and emphasize testing and automating that process.